goody, here it comes.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show.
You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Oh my God, don't stop now!
With your hosts, Brian, John, and Elaine.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Coddington, joined by my fellow co-hosts and filmmakers, John and Elaine Woolscroft.
Brian, I don't think we're supposed to say freaks. I think at this point we should say film fans on the spectrum. I think you should show a little more respect.
I just think it should be the film sexies.
Ooh. I like film freaks. Okay?
He means freak in the fanatical
Film chubs.
sense.
Yes, I mean in the fanatical sense, whatever the fuck that means.
Like I'm a freak for movies, not
Yes.
not I'm a freak.
No, not at all.
Not that I'm a freak on a leash, though. If you are, that's fine.
That is fine.
Film chubs and film bubs.
This is why you're not in charge of
Yeah,
anything.
this is why you're not in charge.
Rub-a-dub-dub. Thanks for the grub.
This
You
is-
film chub.
So we're on episode 28,
Yeah, man.
getting up
old.
there, really
Fighting
getting up
28.
Fighting.
there. Fighting 28, and we got a good one. This is coming out Halloween weekend. Mm-hmm. You know, Halloween's on Monday.
Halloween, the best.
Halloween's on Monday, so this is coming out the Friday beforehand.
Coming to you hot.
I'm absolutely
Yeah, so
terrified.
we're 28 on the 28th. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
That is pretty awesome.
God,
We did it on purpose.
I don't think we did.
I'm absolutely
No,
spooked.
that's called math.
But that's just because I'm pooping blood.
Yeah,
That's fine.
So last week we kind of took a little bit of a break for Back to the Future Day. So just to close out October, we went back to horror.
Oh, did we?
And oh god, and we figured why not give you the treat or trick, you may think it's both, with a Pantheon of Utter Shit episode.
And we have Trick or Treat
And
1986.
my
for y'all.
god.
Smell our feet. We gave you something good to eat,
And
bitches.
yes, I will say this is not Trick or Treat, the classic anthology film from early 2000 something. I don't know.
No. This is 1986.
This is 1986.
And this is the movie that teaches us that heavy metal is evil.
Yes, it does.
Which
But before
seems
that,
so odd. But
It's very specific. in
it
its
really
messaging.
is. It really is.
But we have
Before
a
that, we got-
slightly older news story, but we're
Yeah.
all fucking nerds, so we wanted to share this
A
one
little bit
with
of a
you
news
guys.
bit.
in our galaxy, not that long ago.
In our galaxy, fairly recently, what actually ended up happening is, some of you guys may recall when he was filming The Force Awakens, Harrison Ford was injured, and it did delay production for a little bit. Nothing catastrophic. Obviously, the movie was filmed and the movie was released.
Right.
We just
But-
all assumed he was a dopey old man, right? And that's why he
I
fell.
didn't.
I
no.
didn't. I figured he, maybe he had an injury that might have hurt him.
Well, they were pretty
more
clear
'cause
about
he
it.
was an
from
older
the-
guy. You know.
Well, they were pretty clear about it from the get-go. I mean, they were on the set of the Millennium Falcon. Now, this took place at Pinewood Studios over in England.
Yep.
But they were on the set that they had made of the Falcon, and a door shut on his leg, and it actually could have taken his whole leg off.
Are you telling
And
me
it
it's not a
didn't.
real ship? God damn it.
I'm sorry to burst your bubble.
Yeah, it's not a
But
real ship.
that's old news. The fact that it happened is old news. But what is new news is the company was finally fined. It was
Foodles
about-
Production.
It was about $2 million.
I love foodles, by the way. They're delicious.
You're just in love with the word foodles. But they admitted to 2 health and safety breaches in relation to the incident. Now, this happened way back in June of 2014. But his leg was pretty much crushed, by the hydraulic door. And they said one of the biggest problems with the situation was that the communication wasn't where it needed to be, and he wasn't really made aware of how, what he needed to avoid and how dangerous it was. And I guess they did a whole court case and everything. And what happened is, his leg was hit with the force of a small car.
Yeah.
And
So you're saying the force hit him?
the force of a car.
Of a car.
Oh, it hurts me inside. It hurts me inside. But
Hurts so good.
Harrison Ford himself had acknowledged the accident, through his publicist, and he ended up, joking with J.J. Abrams about it after the fact, and he obviously took it in stride. He's paid to be an actor, and he has so much money to feel better so very fast, so he was fine. But
And the man has crashed planes and walked away.
yeah, he's kind of a
Harrison.
badass.
He's kind
in
of a
real
badass.
life, so.
He's still wearing that one earring like it's 94.
Oh, he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
just like, I don't
but
give
you
a
know
fuck.
what?
He still rocks it.
I'd still hit it. All right, just throwing that out there. So
You and Callista Flockhart.
But what I thought, they're old news. They're not together anymore.
They're not together anymore?
If you had those pythons from Temple of Doom.
Dude, Temple of Doom. Ford is like perfection.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
I'm sorry. What were we talking about? No. Anyway, what I thought was significant though is that this Foodles,
which is a Disney-owned company.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting, that they had admitted fault. I mean, they didn't have a choice. I guess there was an investigation, and they were found to be at fault, and and then they were fined, for the accident because it did violate certain codes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this was just their having to pay, because of what had happened and everything. Obviously, this wasn't like Harrison Ford seeking retribution or anything. It was just an accident. So, but I thought that was significant that Disney had to pay out for something.
Definitely.
So.
That mouse could not be happy about that.
No.
What, motherfucker?
I think what the big takeaway from this whole news story is that, filmmaking can be dangerous.
Sure, especially, the bigger the production, the more that can go wrong.
The more elaborate.
Like a hydraulic fucking door.
Yes. So, I think, and I know that independent filmmakers are kind of the last ones to admit the danger of it, because I think they look at it from a standpoint of, I need to save on costs. Like, I know a lot of filmmakers will be like, well, I won't get production insurance. And it's like, well, what happens if a light falls on someone's head? Or what happens if a C-stand goes ahead and pinches someone's fingers and they're bleeding, okay? What happens, or in the case of when I worked on a film set, the grip truck goes ahead and crashes into someone's shed.
Oh, man, that's so bad.
Yeah, that actually happened.
Wow.
Okay, so I'll give this really quick story, and then we'll get to our main film. So I worked as a grip on a film called Gearheads.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know if this movie's out yet. It might be. I saw the trailer for it. But the producer of it was the voice of Fievel from Fievel Goes West.
Nice.
And it's Phil Glasser. Great guy. Really nice guy. Very personal. Very personal. And I kind of got the job because I knew one of the actors.
Okay.
And I worked with him on a couple things of my own. And he was like, hey, you know what? You want to make $100 a day? I'm like, sure. Why not? So I was working on the set. Really great set. Very personable. The only person who was a dick was the AC.
Okay.
The assistant camera guy.
Okay.
Kind of a dick. Director of photography, Jerry Lively. Great, awesome guy. Crazy. Okay. Guy strapped himself to a car to get a shot.
Whoa.
Okay. In a junkyard. Okay. So, but the point is that we were filming at a high school, and I was doing grip stuff. So mainly, like, if you're not familiar with grips, they basically
Please explain. Brian.
are basically kind of like your electric workers.
Right.
So they set up lights, they set up the light stands. They may also do things like hold bounce boards, flags, the whole works. Basically everything to go ahead and light the scene, they'll do. They also are sometimes in charge of things like the camera movement. So there might be dolly grips. I had done dolly gripping before, so I kind of was on this set, kind of knows the dolly grip as well. But I was working on this scene in which we were in the school, and we had parked the grip truck, out in front of the school, and right behind the school was this residential neighborhood. Okay, it wasn't anything too crazy. It was just a couple houses, and their backyards were facing the school.
Okay.
And we had known that this truck was giving issues with its brake, its parking brake in specific.
Oh, Jesus.
So the idea was to throw rubber chucks underneath the tires. And these chucks were huge, okay? Big honking things.
Okay.
Solid rubber. And like hard rubber, okay? Things that you wouldn't think could jump over it, okay?
Okay.
These weren't tiny by any stretch of the imagination.
But they were rubber.
But they were rubber. That's important to get that across. Because what ended up happening was we're in the middle of a shot, and we hear on our walkie-talkies, the grip truck just jumped the chuck and crashed into a woman's backyard.
Oh my God.
And it's very like matter of fact.
Oh my God.
Like there's no like panic, like, oh my God! It was very just kind of calm. And we're in the middle of the take. We're just like, did we seriously just hear that? And so we all kind of like break, and they're like, take 5. So we all go outside, and we see what happened, and it crashed into this old woman's shed. No. And had the shed not been there, it would have barreled straight to this woman's house. It was going that fast.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So fortunately, this production did have insurance.
Yeah.
So they were able to go ahead and
Fievel knew what
cover
was
it.
up.
Yeah. Yeah. Fievel knew what the fuck was up.
He didn't just go west. He went to the insurance office.
So, but the important thing is that safety, it should be paramount, you know?
Yeah.
If you are making a film where maybe you don't, or it's just a short, I can understand not having insurance, but at the same token, you better make damn sure that no one even has the remote possibility of getting hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's that, the infamous Twilight Zone, the movie, when John Landis' part where, they had children working at night when you weren't allowed to have children working at night. John Landis demanded higher explosions, but the explosions being that high, ended up disrupting the helicopter pilots. They crashed the helicopter, killing the main actor and the 2 children, decapitating at least 2 of the 3. I think all 3
Richard
of them.
Morrow, I believe, was his name.
Sounds familiar. I think,
but a horrible accident,
might be a
and
little
I mean,
bit off on the name, but
in infamy now,
Vic Morrow.
Vic Morrow, yes, that's it.
Good one, John.
Good one. I got the last name.
Yeah, and so obviously, there was a lot of litigation on that, a lot of talk of safety on set, when is a shot not worth it in those kind of situations. And it's never good when you're putting somebody in peril with something that heavy and made of metal.
Yeah.
But speaking of heavy metal, we watched Trick or Treat.
Wow!
Crafty piece of shit.
Wow,
that was a really.
So I gotta ask, do you just wait to hear yourself talk and analyze everything you're saying, and you just go, "This is my moment"?
No, man.
I don't think
he
before
just
I
pulls it out of his ass.
Wow.
Even he doesn't know what he's gonna say before he says it. God love him.
So Trick or Treat, I kind of chose this movie
in our Pantheon of Utter
Shit.
And boy, did we have a lot to choose from in the horror genre.
We had a lot, but this one was nice.
We talked about 15 movies, I think.
We haven't watched a lot of older stuff recently, and that was really cool because this is 1986.
1986.
If you look at a modern poster that's not just the one of a jack-o'-lantern, you'll see Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons are on the cover,
and it's the worst photoshopped.
It's so bad.
It's the worst photoshopped.
They both have
ever.
Ironic cameos in it. Gene
yes.
Simmons.
Both of them are in the movie for about 6 minutes, but they're the ones they throw on the poster.
Oh, they're the only ones that are super famous, I guess.
Yeah.
Though the guy who plays Eddie in this, he was a very
Mark
big
Price,
deal.
Our protagonist.
Yeah, Mark Price was a big deal at the time because he, last week's episode, he was on Family Ties. Just like Michael J. thought.
So just to give you a quick rundown on Trick or Treat. One, as we said, we're not talking about the anthology film.
Yeah, no. This is a different
Trick
beast.
or Treat. This is a different beast. So this came out in 1986, and it basically tells a story of Eddie Ragman.
Yeah.
Also known as Ragman, which coincidentally,
because apparently he has menstruation issues.
Yeah, but coincidentally, that's actually the name of the film in Germany.
That's crazy.
There's only one Blu-ray version of this, and it's in Germany.
One?
Das Fragman.
Yeah. Das Fragman.
I'll tell you what, though. This is full disclosure. I watched this on YouTube, and it was. I
think that's the only way you could find it.
Yeah, well, it was only
Full
done.
disclosure, I don't think it's on DVD.
It's on Blu-ray in Germany, John. This is why we can't have nice things.
And it's a De Laurentiis film.
We saw that immediately. We were like, ah!
The sign of quality, a De Laurentiis production.
But anyway, it's only uploaded in full screen, so you don't get the proper aspect ratio. And John and I totally saw the mic in one of the shots.
Oh,
just dip down into frame.
I don't even think it was
John was
an
like, Mike in
aspect
the
ratio
shot,
issue.
Mike in the shot.
I think they just didn't
I think that's
care.
just there. I did find a full screen version, a widescreen version of it.
Oh, see, I didn't.
But anyway,
Did you see a mic?
I wasn't paying attention to the mic. So, but anyway, the movie
saying.
is about Eddie Ragman, and
Brian
he's
was paying
kind
attention
of
to pedagogy.
I was paying attention to pedagogy, man.
Always.
Okay.
Always. I should've guessed.
And he's basically kind of like your typical 80s high school kind of nerdy, but not quite a nerd.
Well, he's
an outcast.
He's a
you know?
misfit.
He's a misfit. He's in the the mid 80s, so everyone's wearing pastels and going about.
Everyone is wearing
This is
pastels.
so strange, though, because this is when heavy metal was at its biggest, but yet he's the only kid in this school.
You gotta understand.
Who's into heavy
Everybody's
metal.
into Miami Vice and New Wave instead of
But
heavy
you'd
metal.
think the school would be split down the middle between the heavy metal kids and the jocks and the prep, jock/prep.
Yeah.
But he's like the only kid who's into this.
Yeah.
Well, the story doesn't work if he's not a fucking
It
freak,
doesn't work
bro.
that way, okay? So anyway, Eddie's life is kind of shit. He has to deal with these really horrible bullies. Like, I was telling John
Murdering
before
rapist
this,
bullies, yeah.
like, these bullies are 10 times worse than normal 80s school bullies.
Oh, they have power tools in this.
Like,
They're bad.
they try to kill him
Multiple
at
times.
least twice.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
They pants him and take pictures of him. Like, that's preluding cyberbullying, okay, which we have now.
Yeah.
Like, I'd say this is about the level of cyberbullying was.
Yeah, because they were able to use like that disposable, or not disposable camera, but that
Polaroid.
like,
Polaroid,
camera, and take a photo of him right away and pass it around school.
Yeah.
So that was the 80s version of
That was the
cyberbullying.
80s version of cyberbullying. So, his life is kind of shit. He really is. He's in love with this girl, Leslie.
Who's way out of his league.
Who's way out of his league, but she kind of has a soft spot for
These are fantasy movies.
outsiders.
Guys in the 80s,
and he's got one friend, who's kind of his buddy Roger, and Roger's a typical nerd.
Dude, can I just say that the actor that played Roger went on to like do a lot of really prolific television work?
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's not he wasn't
Glenn
an actor.
Morgan?
Yeah, he wasn't an actor after
direct
this, but
Dolphin
he
Tale?
no, the director of this movie directed Dolphin Tale
Okay.
1 and 2.
Oh wow!
But no, the actor that played Roger, he went on to work on like
Glenn
the
Morgan.
X-Files and shit. Like he did all this stuff, you guys. I can't even
Wow.
tell you. Like,
Wait,
it's
that was
so-
Glenn Morgan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, he was a big deal in the X-Files.
Yeah,
in
I
fact, I
told you.
believe he did the horrible remake of The Night Stalker.
I think so too. Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah. He
Yeah,
and-
he was kind of Chris Carter's right-hand man on that
Wow.
show.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm
interesting.
saying. He was a very
James
prolific
Wong.
force
It was
on that.
James Wong who was the... I'm trying to think of the other big-time writer on the X-Files. I apologize, I'm spacing.
No, that's all right.
But not to get too sidetracked.
Not to get too sidetracked.
But
But I just
That's-
thought it was
so-
really interesting.
yeah, Ragman is into... And what is the name of his heavy metal god?
Sammi Curr.
Sammi Curr.
Sammi Curr,
Nice,
that's
nice.
it. Yeah.
Sammi Curr. And then when we're talking heavy metal, we're talking 80s hair, post-punk heavy metal, okay? A lot of leather.
Poison Rat.
Motley Crue, that level, of heavy metal. We're not talking, alternative, post-grunge metal, okay?
Right.
There's no Nickelback in this shit, okay?
He kind of reminds me of an early Alice Cooper. Not
yeah.
like sellout golfing Alice Cooper.
Yeah, so Republican golfing Alice Cooper. And his only friend aside from Roger is Nuke, the
Played by
radio
Gene Simmons.
DJ played by Gene Simmons. Yeah. And the whole basically crux of the movie is that Eddie finds out after writing this very heartfelt fan note to Sammi Curr.
Borderline frightening.
It
fan
is
note.
kind of,
it has overtones of Eminem's song "Stan." in it.
Yes, it does.
I just want to smell you. I just want to be inside you.
Yeah, it really does.
Seriously though, what kind of shampoo do you use?
I want to cut out your eyes and put them where my eyes are so I can see the world as you see it.
I'm gonna give you my jerk off sock.
Please give me everything that
Oh, come on. You know he used the jerk off sock.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I understand the presence of the jerk off sock, but it's not something that I'm personally very, acquainted with.
His mom's probably like, why do you get so many chapped hands next to your bedside? You have all this lotion.
So anyway, he's going
Different.
to send this letter, and he finds out that Sammi Curr died.
And this is okay. So
Died in a
we're
fire.
So we're very much making fun of this, but to learn that your idol died in a tragic fire, that is awful.
It is awful.
I mean, we've felt the ramifications of several amazing famous people dying this year. But can you just imagine being 17, completely brimful of all these fucking feelings, and the only thing that makes your day okay is this rock star that just fucking died? That sucks.
And it was it wasn't of old age or anything like that. It was
Right.
he basically died in a hotel fire. And the whole thing is that you find out that basically Sammi communicating with like the devil.
Was a Satan worshiper.
He was a Satan worshiper.
Well, yeah, they say like how bad he is. He's like, oh, he cut snakes open on stage. He fucks dead pigs.
Well, he really was a Satan worshiper.
He really
in the
was a
film.
Satan
Like,
worshiper
that was,
in the film.
Part of the
that was
storyline.
he started to believe his shit,
and they,
as Nuke says.
Yeah, exactly.
And they have kind of preludes to the whole Senate hearings on rock and roll, and
Yes.
the later Senate hearings on video games, like yeah, you're corrupting our youth, And,
Yeah.
But
He's like, you don't understand. Rock's awesome. Rock's life.
Eddie's so sad that when his hero dies, he rips off all 79 posters off his walls.
John did have a problem with this scene. He was like, how many fucking posters
does he have at this band?
He had a lot.
It wasn't just of that band. It was
Of him.
all bands. It was all metal bands.
Yeah.
Like he just
And
kind
had-
of lost his shit.
In his defense, he also had a very large room. Like, weirdly large.
That was...
Well,
I'm going to be
like
honest with you.
the
That was an
attic or whatever.
awesome
It was really
room.
cool.
I would have
It was
loved
cool.
a room like that.
Yeah, it was cool.
So basically, he's kind of like, melancholic, I guess. Melancholy?
Melancholy.
He's
yeah.
full of melancholy.
He's,
okay.
He's morose.
He's morose
full of ennui.
at this news. And, full of ennui. So, he goes to his buddy Nuke. And Nuke tells him, like, hey, you know what? I've got the only album he ever produced. And that's actually it.
The only copy of his final.
Yeah.
No, that's his only album.
Well, no, like he'd released other albums.
Are you sure? Because honestly, they said it's his only studio album.
Well, I said it was the only copy of his latest album, I thought.
Yeah, the only copy of unreleased material.
Yeah, like, it was
He's
the
had
only one.
multiple albums, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah. 'Cause he
It
was
should be
supposed to
noted that this
play-
guy went to the same high school as our protagonist.
yes, that is important.
And
to
he's
know.
supposed to play a big concert there Halloween night, but then he dies.
Well, no, they no.
Oh, that's right.
That
No,
the
he was
PTA
supposed to, and the PTA was like, hell nah, brah.
Yeah, and
And
the
then he died.
PTA, the head of the PTA, who they
right.
interviewed, is played by Large Marge.
Oh, yeah, I heard you say that earlier.
Yeah, the actress who played Large Marge in Pee-wee's Big
I didn't
Adventure.
recognize her.
She plays the Christian right PTA
That's funny.
bitch.
That's really funny.
Okay, so basically you've got all this going on. Eddie gets this record, and he's kind of like, okay, why is it so heavy? Well, it's an acetate. Which I'm like, okay, no one really knows that shit. Okay.
Especially
and
not now in
I'm like,
2016.
Well, they had to have it stand out from like a regular record,
Yeah, yeah. So he plays this record, and he finds that it's basically playing forward in a backwards kind of tone.
Right.
Okay.
Which is creepy.
Which
if
is
you
creepy.
Hear a record backwards, it's creepy.
Yes.
I think it sounds very
And so
spooky.
he starts playing the record backwards, and he
With
finds
his hands.
that the record is talking directly to him.
Which
and
this is a pretty cool concept.
It is a
right?
cool
It's pretty
concept.
cool.
It is a cool
80s,
concept.
So
It's the 80s, so,
it's a lot of mullets.
yeah. So
Our hero has a dashing mullet.
He has a fluffy, glorious, unicorn mane of a mullet.
yeah.
He's
Like a
party in the
dark
front and
unicorn.
party in the back. There's no business in
There's
the front.
no business happening whatsoever. It is a unicorn party.
It's a unicorn party. So, he's listening to this record, and he kind of gets the idea to get even with these bullies who previously had tried to kill him by drowning him and throwing a piece of metal in his backpack. These bullies are fucking assholes. Like, I have no sympathy
Yeah,
for
they
them at all.
did because he's been talking to this girl Leslie, and she's like, "There's
They don't
gonna be
like
this
him.
party," and she invites him to the party, and he decides to go, but then they're dicks to him. And almost murder him, and she saves him. And this is also after they steal his towel while he was showering
And
in
then
gym class
naked pictures
and
of him.
lock him out of the gym room. And then the girls
The one girl bitch
the
took
one
a picture
girl
of him.
took a photo of him. That
Yeah.
that shit was messed up.
I was
man.
just saying, these
it was vicious.
bullies
Well,
are
his girl-
just really mean.
Yeah, the girl that likes him gets the photo back.
Yes.
'Cause, obviously nobody has any way to make copies unless they Xerox it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
It's like, here's the only
1986.
photo of your
So
nakedness.
he gets even with these bullies by
in a
having
part
this,
that was written clearly by John Hughes, I guess.
clearly, it was a very
It was
elaborate.
missing, cartoon noise,
Yeah, it was a very elaborate chase sequence, and they even going through the library. They kind of stop or walk like this,
Yeah.
walking kind of don't want to walk too fast, but don't want to look like
This is the
we're.
I
library.
really wish
yeah.
it had the Benny Hill music,
Yeah. So he gets even with them, and that kind of infuriates the main bully,
Played
and
by Doug Savant, who goes on to play one of the husbands on Desperate Housewives.
oh seriously,
Yeah, he looked familiar to me, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's Tom."
the main bully's name is Tim Haney.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's Doug Savant.
So, he gets even with them, and then he's like, okay, we're going to really show him now. And things start to kind of make a turn when the bullies kind of corner him at a wood shop in which the record told Eddie to go to.
Yeah, so he just goes
He's
there
like,
with his
let's
lunch.
go kill them now. And he's like, whoa!
And yeah, it almost the
Not
machinery
sure I'm on board.
the machinery kind of like starts to work on its own and nearly kills Tim by like impaling him through the eye.
Tim, like, is wearing a tie, and I'm like, what? I mean, I know it's the 80s, but who wears a tie to school?
A lot of people wore those little tiny ties.
He wore it so it could get stuck in the machine.
Absolutely.
And trap him. You
To
know?
be fair, if they're all jocks, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like in my high school, the guys would wear like at least shirts and ties, if not jackets and ties on game days.
No, this was not a game day tie. This was a
Bro tie.
1980s bro tie.
All right,
It was the skinny
bri.
tie and everything.
whatever.
A bri.
I'm just
A bri.
saying. I'm just saying.
I didn't offer my name to that. So, things start
almost
to
gets
kind of
bruises
turn
anyway.
at that point,
Yeah.
and he starts to kind of get leery of this record. This record starts moving on its own, talking to
Because
him.
at first it was kind of fun, like, oh, like,
Yeah.
it helped me mess with those guys like a little, and then it's suddenly like
And-
murder
and he-
everybody.
and he
like,
kind of
ooh.
did
Well,
some.
yeah, it's like mom
This isn't
knocks on the
fun
door. He's
anymore.
like, yeah, let's fuck your mom and kill her. It's like, whoa, hey, she
Wait,
just
whoa.
did my laundry. I'm kind of appreciative.
Slow your roll here,
Yeah.
Sammy. Jesus.
Yeah. So
Grab your mom's
the record
panties.
starts to get pissed off at Eddie because Eddie tries to pull the power.
Yeah.
To it, and it's basically the record opens up, and you have the revived Sammi Curr.
Yeah, he's somehow
Who's-
like manifested.
well, he's
it.
kind
Why
of-
couldn't you have just done that from the beginning?
Well, don't forget
He didn't have
that-
enough power.
Don't forget that there was a tape made of the record, that he made a tape, and
Yes.
then it was given to Tim,
As a peace offering, and it ended up killing.
almost killing.
Almost,
She went to the
yeah.
hospital.
She never really died in it.
That was the only tits in the whole movie, though. She like
That was the only
the
tits
tape
in the
like
whole movie.
the spirit like
Womp wall, by the
undresses her.
It
and
was
shit.
it was a spirit rape
It was.
Yeah.
that turned into
I-
it was a demon.
Rape happens a lot in the 80s.
I mean, there are rape themes in this movie, which I hate, but that actually seemed consensual. She was like into it.
she was not
She was
really
enjoying
aware it was
the-
happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
If,
All right.
if a woman, say, she passed out because she was drunk, if you went down on her, she may have an orgasm, but she never consented.
John, I'm not arguing with you
Yeah.
about what
Yeah.
consent means. I just meant that,
I mean, I
didn't know
viewed
what was
it
happening.
as she didn't know what the hell was going on.
okay. Well, I
And-
thought she had more of her wits about it.
No,
than
I don't
that.
think she knew.
I thought that she was like okay with it.
Sammy in his fart cloud form, just like
It's
cuddle
like
up in her.
this green effect of like smoke all over her. It's
Yes.
very strange.
And it even like forms into a hand
It does.
towards the end.
to get into her panties.
Get into
dude.
her panties,
You need
and
to
that's
thumb
when
for that
she
shit.
kind of looks up and sees it's some kind of weird, terrible 1980s makeup puppet
That
effect,
was weird. Like it was just some kind of monster, and it never
Yes.
appeared again. That was strange.
and then
I
it
thought
melted
that-
her ears.
Yeah, the headphones like melted
Yes.
into her head. But anyway, it sends her to the hospital. So
Sent her to
that's,
the
like,
hospital,
tape, you
and
know.
Tim's kind of pissed off at Eddie, and
Kinda. He goes to his house. And
he
is
goes to
ready
his house
fuck
and ready
him
to go
up.
ahead and fuck him up.
But then after that. That's when Sammy. Like,
That's when Sammy
comes to life from the record.
Which Sammy kind of reminds me of a poor man's Freddy Krueger,
Kind of.
combined with
You're not.
the
Yeah,
character,
you're not alone in seeing
the
that.
character of Livewire from DC Comics.
Yeah. Well, too. I mean, like
He also reminds me of Russell Crowe from Virtuosity.
Yeah.
Yes,
But, like, well, it's
that might be another Pantheon of Utter Shit
Yes.
film because I love that movie.
but it's that like quippiness to him, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Where he says something like kind of shitty, you know what I mean? But like it's like supposed to be funny. That's
Yes.
like kind of like the Kruger-esque. Like,
and on top of that, his face is scarred and
One-liners.
burned.
Yeah,
and
from
you
the
know that whole
fire.
thing.
Apparently
So
only his cheek was burnt in the fire.
and you find
way
out
tighter pants than Freddy though.
Yes, and some of the goofy things he does. So here's
Way
some of
better
the
hair.
goofy shit that he does. One, he kills Ozzy Osbourne through the TV.
Yeah. Oh, is
Okay.
that who he grabs?
That's who he
Because
grabs?
it's never
No, he-
clear.
he-
I thought he grabbed the woman.
He
No, he
did grab
grabs
the
them
woman,
both.
but he wiped across the TV with Ozzy Osbourne on it. Because Ozzy Osbourne plays a preachy reverend.
Yeah, which
in
I
this.
thought was a funny visual, especially for '86.
Yes.
I mean, he wouldn't have been like how we know him now, like Sharon. Like he would have been like
He was still the Lord of fucking darkness.
Well,
I thought
he was
the Prince of fucking.
He was
Prince of
in
fucking Darkness,
Prince of fucking Darkness. But
it
he
would've been
was
a
in
funny role for him
He
to
was
play
in
at the time.
mid drug alcohol level at that point, I think.
Yeah.
That was 86. Yeah.
He wasn't snorting ants at this point. He had already pissed on the Alamo. He'd already bitten the head off the bat.
Yeah, so
yeah,
this
he
would
was
have been a
Prince of
funny
fucking
role for him
darkness.
at the time because I mean now he seems like a cartoon character.
Yes,
like,
very
but
much
Then
so.
this would have been like kind of an interesting.
So
role
he
for
goes
him.
ahead just like Kruger would.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he goes ahead and he wipes
Much better
across
cameo
the
than
TV.
Ghostbusters, though.
Oh jeez, oh jeez, we don't need to go there,
The
man.
new one. Don't do it.
We don't need to go there.
So anyway, yeah.
So he
takes
goes
care of
ahead,
Ozzy
kills
as well,
Ozzy,
That's right.
and then he rips Large Marge out of a TV, which automatically turns her into like this like little person.
It's really strange. It's like it's obviously like
Who's been burnt
a
to crisp.
doll. Like
Yeah.
it's like
like,
a
what
shell.
happened there? Like, did he really pull her through a TV?
Yeah,
Like,
Oh, yeah.
apparently he's supposed
Yeah.
to be
What
able
did
to
the
like
people that were
manipulate
filming
all.
it live, like, what did they
They
see?
saw a hand.
They just saw a hand come through, and it's like,
pull her, I
Jesus Christ!
God just pulled this woman into nothingness. Like,
guess. Or like the devil. I mean, not
Yeah.
a good thing.
You know, and that's honestly like his main way of killing you.
Yeah, I guess.
Is he's
'cause,
gonna
he
touch
can
you.
manipulate all these like electronics and stuff, but I guess he burns you with a single.
He burns you with
touch.
his electricity.
Yeah, I guess.
That's why I say it's like live wire.
he's
Yeah,
Electro. He's
yeah.
Spider-Man's villain, Electro.
It's electric.
Yeah. So it's always death by electricity with
Why
this
did he
guy.
not do an electric slide in the movie?
Oh my god.
Which
That's all I
would have been
wanted
perfect
in
for
my
him
life.
because the character is played by Tony Fields, who is a dancer.
you can tell in the way
You
he
can
moves.
tell he's such a
And
dancer.
I think he did a good job, of the movements and stuff. He definitely came across as like a writhing rock star.
But-
you know what I mean? He was very graceful,
Yeah,
very
he
elegant.
he was, but I gotta say that's probably the worst lip syncing I've ever
Oh, he's
seen.
a terrible fucking actor. God
No,
bless
like
him.
for his the scene where he is at the high school dance and
Yeah.
he's singing his song.
I wasn't sure. Was that? I thought maybe it was just like buffering. I'm
No,
like, it's the movie.
That's him.
My bad.
That's him.
My bad.
That's the worst fucking lip syncing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
So basically, Sammy wants to keep killing people, and Eddie's kind of like, you got to get rid of this guy. So he contacts his friend Roger, and Roger's like, okay, I'll get rid of this tape because the tape has a copy of the
Yeah.
music.
he
Because
gave
you
a copy
find
of the
out
tape to Roger.
he's kind of surmised, and they never really like go into like, oh, this must be the reason why.
the logic is very
Yes,
lacking.
the logic's all over the fucking place. But you find out that Sammy only exists within recordings of this music.
right.
Okay? So they made a tape that, was the rape tape. I think that's what we'll call it, the rape tape.
Okay, fair enough.
All right? And he gives it to his friend Roger and says, you gotta destroy
I
this.
just assumed that was any Bill Cosby
'cause this
thing,
is-
performance on tape.
But this is the tape that he had given to Tim that hurt Tim's girlfriend.
Yes.
And he asked Roger to go get it.
Yes, he asked him to go get
He didn't
it.
give Roger anything. He asked Roger to retrieve this other copy.
Right.
that
He
was
told
out
Roger
there.
to destroy it, but Roger's like, yeah, bro, I destroyed it, whatever.
He's like, yeah, I got rid of it. And then he starts listening to it,
Yeah.
which is...
Rookie move,
That's
Roger.
a
What
rookie
are you
mistake
doing?
right there, man.
What are you doing with
have
your
you not
life?
watched any horror movie
Get your
ever?
life, Roger.
And of
So-
course, we're climaxing into the big dance, which
yeah, the
you know,
Halloween dance.
It's always a
Eddie
Halloween
couldn't
dance.
go
doesn't
because
wanna
his mom thinks he's on the smack. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he's been acting very weird in her defense.
He has
Yeah.
been acting very weird.
And then his girlfriend calls him. Well, his girl he wants
His
to be
love
girlfriend.
interest.
His love
Leslie.
interest calls him and he hears the music in the background.
He's like, "What's that
Damn.
music?"
He's like, oh fuck,
So
and
he realizes that not only did Roger not destroy it, but the tape
They're
is
playing
being
it.
played.
And as he goes to the dance, his car comes alive because he didn't realize he had a tape in the car.
Weird.
Okay,
Weird.
The same damn tape
There's
was in the
some
car,
amateur hour going on here.
There really
People are
is.
making some mistakes, and it's bullshit.
and the car nearly kills him.
Yep.
Nearly throws him off a bridge, which the
Yep.
bridge comes into play later.
And at the meantime, then at the high school, we're having like a concert with Sammy, who like appears again.
He kind of appears because of the tape playing,
And we're
which they
having-
never really talk about. Why? Like, is there amount of tape of that music that's to play for him to kind of appear?
I don't
Is
get it.
there?
all I get is
it doesn't
there
make any
has to
fucking
be
sense.
some actual medium, either tape, a
recording.
an LP,
And there has to be
or,
electronics
or a
nearby.
CD, which came out about 4 years earlier than this movie. If he's on any of those mediums, he can exist.
He can manifest,
Yes.
and he has a great amount of power over electronics.
But like they pulled the tape off and he was still there.
right, I'm not
You
saying
know,
it makes
like
a great
the
deal of
logic
sense.
doesn't make any fucking sense.
Right. So anyway, so he does a concert.
I guess
and-
like if when you pull Freddy out of the dream, you know what I mean? Like he's gonna be there unless you get rid of him.
Yeah.
You know?
But anyway, he kind of
makes more
pulls like
sense.
a whole thing at the high school that's sort of like the fire parts of Carrie, not so much
Yes.
like the pig's blood, but like the fire parts.
It's like the fire parts.
So that kind of happens at the high school. Roger's like beside himself because he like didn't know, even though your friend told you like shit would be serious, just destroy the tape. So then Eddie makes it to the school. Leslie's almost attacked by Tim.
Attack's a nice way to say it.
Well, I mean, he does.
He tries to.
He tries to
sexually
rape her.
assaults her and then.
Well, you find out that happened at least one other time.
And this is
they just threw that in there.
Hold on.
makes me so angry.
We need some feminist rage out here.
So angry.
Fema rage. Okay, go ahead.
Hulking out.
Come on, you feminazi.
When he was like, shut your pie hole, Wang Chung. No, when he's like, you know it's happened before, so it can happen again. Like, no. She can say no to you whenever the fuck she wants. It doesn't matter if she did it with you already.
Yes means fuck me, no means fuck you.
Fuck you. Shut up. That's not funny.
That's not funny,
You
man.
didn't hear it. You didn't listen.
Oh,
Yes means fuck me, no means fuck you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It was my rage. I just like didn't even hear you correctly.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't see you go ahead and grab him and throw him out the window.
My bad. my mistake. But yeah, that just and that is why
Jessica Semler introduced that to me.
I just think this that part of the film just makes me so angry because it is like I know it's 1986 and I have to remind myself it's 1986 and I just hope to fucking baby Jesus that there's never anything like that
remember,
in a
he
movie
is the
now
villain.
because it perpetuates like so much bullshit.
Well, he is the villain and he does.
He's the villain. He does get he gets exploded.
but I hate it a lot. I'm allowed to hate
You're
it a lot.
supposed to hate him.
Blame you.
But I hate it a lot. I hate that it's in the movie.
It's given another reason for us, the audience, to hate him, which is good that it's like, okay, this is being portrayed as something
Something
repugnant
wrong.
and horrible.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
Still.
because you're not supposed to like him. I think the problem is with that movie, you tend to start to feel bad for Tim after a while. Because
He does get pretty fucked up.
He does get pretty fucked up.
But
He's
then he
an
does
attempt-
that.
But then
and
he
you're
does
like, no.
that,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, I'm supposed to hate him.
Yeah, it's true.
Well,
It's
you look at movies like Animal House, where like Belushi, sees the woman passed out and like winks at the camera, like I'm gonna go rape her. Or you look at Revenge of the Nerds when he pretends to be somebody else and has sex with a woman, and so he raped her. Like at least in this movie, the rapist is actually portrayed as the villain.
That's true.
Unlike most
Yeah,
'80s movies where
that's
rape is
true.
humorous, like if the woman's a bitch, it's okay, like
which is disgusting.
Yeah.
that's the '80s
Yeah,
mentality.
so that was the '80s mentality.
All right.
But anyway,
Coming around.
Tim gets his head blown off by Sammi, okay,
That was awesome.
which we were all rooting for that at that point. And then they kind of were like, okay, well we got to kill the power, the school. So Roger goes ahead and does the fake sacrifice.
yeah, well, he felt bad that he'd like fucked up the whole thing. It was
Yeah,
basically
but
his fault.
there was no payoff though. Like he should have died.
Well, and the thing is, he says, actually, I'm not dead. Isn't that the perfect time for, like, a zinger? Like a good one-liner and not just like, oh, I'm actually not dead. Oh,
Kind of
okay.
like a shawarma. That's a shawarma incident.
Like, throw an
Shawarma scene right there.
Arnie, like, one-liner in there, something.
I mean,
Like an
missed
I'll be
opportunity.
back.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah.
though.
So I
I'm
thought
not dead, I'm just a little shocked.
right?
Oh. Yeah.
the guy,
Yeah.
you with the face.
Yeah. So, but I thought he should have died
Yeah.
because I'm like, he's like, I gotta do one thing right. Okay,
Okay. And
do
like,
that and then die because then you'll be done.
Redeemed.
You'll be
so
redeemed.
bloodthirsty. I
Okay.
love it.
Yeah. Fuck him, bloodthirsty. So you think that's the end of the movie, but it isn't. Okay, because you find out that Nuke, the radio DJ.
When you say Nuke, I can only think of RoboCop 2, and that was the name of the drug
yes.
that Kane was
Yes,
distributing.
Yes. But
Well,
I didn't name the character.
because Leslie and Eddie realize that the other access that they have, like, for the record to be out in the world
Radio.
is this radio show that's going to play it
Yep.
at midnight.
On
and
Halloween.
they have to get there.
Yes,
you
they
know?
do. So they go ahead and they race there, and over the course there, the music starts playing, and pretty much everywhere they go, Sammi starts popping up all over the place,
Right.
wreaking
Because
all
it's on
sorts of
all these
havoc,
radio stations.
and that was hilarious. The one way they were able to go ahead and trip him up was
Dude.
by throwing him in the toilet.
Dude, he like stretches out a hand and
He's
it
like,
like lands in the
"Ugh."
toilet. It was so amazing. Like that was the best scene in the whole movie.
But I kept thinking, I'm like, shouldn't you not flush it? Because that
Oh my god, no,
flushes...
she flushed it. Oh,
Yeah,
she
well, doesn't that get
flushed
rid of the
it.
water for a
But it
little
was
bit?
amazing.
Well, wouldn't that flush the electrocution down and
No.
like, keep him stuck?
No, because water
In
and
80s film
electricity
logic?
gets all... No, there's no...
It doesn't. I mean,
It doesn't matter.
I mean, in the 80s though, there were like no low flow toilets. Like it still would have been full of water.
Yes.
Either way.
They did
Even
not
if you
give a shit
flushed it.
about, water conservation back then.
Right.
I'm sure Sammy spent a lot of time suffering like around a toilet. You know?
Yeah. Like all rock stars.
I just thought it was hilarious.
No,
that-
it was the
That was the
greatest
one
scene.
thing, and his screaming like...
It was so. I actually rewound it 3 times. just
Explain to me
enjoy
why
it.
they didn't just like get some buckets and just turn the sink on and just keep throwing water on them.
Or why not just get him in a shower and then turn the shower on?
I mean,
Or get a hose.
I mean,
How
they
badly
were
does-
improvising. Okay.
How badly does this girl want to be with this guy? Because
Apparently pretty badly. She
'Cause
really
she's
has
like,
a thing for those
"Oh,
outcasts.
you are somehow I think vaguely responsible for like a giant fireball explosion. At
You're
the
like, "My
high
friends
school,
died. It's
and
your
now
fault."
You're gonna run off, but I'm gonna follow you anyways. And then she almost dies a couple times. Like I'm gonna continue.
You know,
to
but she
follow
like
you.
actually does shit. Like I always look in films to see like what's going on, and she like actually tries to be useful.
Yeah, if I was her, I'd be like, you know what? I'm out. There is plenty of other mullet like cock in this school. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't have necessarily a huge problem with her character because it was nice to see a female character, especially in an 80s movie that wasn't useless.
But they go back to the radio station. Sammy is using like an electrical force field to protect the recording.
Yep.
And then so
Yes.
our genius mulleted Eddie decides...
Nuke has died. We mentioned that, right?
yes.
He was like
Yeah.
fucking Kentucky
I'm
fried.
assuming because Gene Simmons just like, was in the hospital.
The way people die in this
heroin.
movie are hilarious too.
Yeah.
Like he goes
Everybody,
ahead
like,
and
smokes. Like they're just
they don't. I think they just ran out of money.
Oh,
Yeah.
they spent it all on the electronic effects.
Yes, and because the way these people die, so like you have the one cop in the street, who goes ahead, he's like freeze
With a stun gun.
with a stun gun,
hair.
and just shoots him with the stun gun, and then Sammy's response is, "Okay, I'm gonna just blow you up," and all you get,
You see Sammy like concentrating.
he's just like, "Ugh," and then
It happened.
and then you
off
see a
screen.
pair of smoking boots.
And then just smoking
that
boots.
They so clearly just put like dry ice
Yes.
inside of the boots.
No
but
blood.
It was genius.
no
Like,
blood in this movie.
You know what? It was genius. They did a lot with what they had. Like, I mean, it didn't have that much money. They had to spend it all on
They
the
spent it
special
all.
effects.
No, they spent it all on Gene Simmons
Force
and
lightning ain't cheap, kids.
And Ozzy Osbourne.
and Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah, Force lightning ain't cheap. So they go to the radio station, and Eddie's got the idea. He's like, okay, I'm going to lure him away. So they stolen the police car.
Yeah,
That's
they
important to note
totally
too.
stole a police car because they jacked his mom's car pretty bad.
They did.
So.
The mom's car got powers and decided to go ahead and chase after them.
Yeah,
because the tape was still
became
stuck in
sentient.
it. Yeah, so
With maximum overdrive.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
right.
they go ahead and he takes a radio and he throws it in the back of the car where the metal mesh is so that he thinks it's going to protect him.
Yeah.
Okay. And he just starts driving and he tells Leslie, okay, wait 100, count to 100 and then run in and destroy the tape. Okay.
It's a very strange number, but okay.
Which doesn't make any sense to me because I'm like, you're telling me that this Sammy guy can't be in 2 places at once?
He's kind of proved
He's
that
kind
he
of
could
like
probably do that.
an undead spirit. You're telling me he can't be in 2 places
But
at
hey,
once?
we'll
But
go
okay,
with it.
let's roll with this, okay? So he's driving. He just starts like yelling at the radio.
Yeah, and I thought this was
come on,
kind
pussy.
of a cool part because he was like, he's like, you're evil and shit, and like I don't need you anymore, and you're the one that needs me, like without your fans you were nothing, and like I actually like for as like terrible as the movies that we see, I mean like you stack this up against something like Tiptoes, like,
Yeah.
at least this was a very linear narrative with a character that actually does have an arc. Like he goes from being this moody little like needy bitch to like screaming at his idol being like, I am fucking over this, like you
Yeah.
are bullshit, get out of
Yeah.
my life. Like that's kind of cool.
I'm now into John Denver.
Yeah.
It could have been worse. I don't know.
No.
I mean, like there's a lot to laugh at this movie about, but
But
that
he-
was one thing they got right.
But he drowned Sammy.
He,
he
yes, he
drives
does.
off the
Drives the
bridge.
car off the
He
bridge.
drives the
off
car
the
off the
bridge.
bridge,
Yep.
which should have killed him.
Yeah.
It should have killed Eddie. Like,
oh, Eddie should have been
that
fucked. dead.
there's no walking away from that. Like
It's
that
fine.
drop, kill,
It's
dead.
fine.
And then obviously since Sammy showed up in the car, she was able to get into the radio station, destroy the final copy.
Because
of the
ghosts
recording.
can't be in 2 places at the same time.
I mean, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, the rules were never properly set
It's
up in
fine.
this movie, which happens so many times in movies.
Especially in a horror movie like of this ilk. You know?
And then
Yeah.
the ending, there's something that should have taken about 4 or 5 minutes happens in about 16 seconds.
Yeah, he comes back and like they kiss. You know, he comes back to the radio station and they kiss.
Now
and then,
he's the new radio host?
Yeah, I guess he's like the new radio host,
Yes.
like his friend Nuke was.
But like,
Did he dust
just
off
starts?
Nuke before he sat in the seat?
Did he at least move the boots?
I was gonna say like no, like just hey Nuke, let
sure-
me get the dust buster out.
Hey, I'm pretty sure Gene Simmons
Needed some
leaves
kitty
his
litter
underwear.
this
and
year.
shit
Roger
everywhere.
was dusting up the old lady, Large Marge, who had
True.
died on his
It's
floor.
true.
He's got like the broom. He's
true.
brooming her.
It's
So
true.
yeah,
And you don't just get. It's not a matter of somebody dies. You can just take over their job unless you're vice president. You know, like you don't
That's
just
sort of
like
part
well.
of the gig.
Yeah, the radio DJ died, and I'm the first one here, so now I'm the DJ. Like idiot. That's not how it works.
But again, like I thought it did kind of show us in a cool way, like that, like Eddie would move on, like he would still love music, and like he found a way to kind of incorporate it in his life. I mean,
he's gonna be into
maybe I
pop
read.
music
I mean,
now.
maybe I read too much into it, but you know, like he'd be maybe a DJ now. And
He
like,
ended up becoming the basis of the Pinheads, Marty McFly's band. And
Oh, okay.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
That makes perfect.
But I
fucking
don't know.
sense.
I mean, if you can stomach how 80s horrific this movie is. I thought it was funny, but I have a question though.
Yeah.
Why was it called Trick or Treat? It took place on Halloween, but it had
Because
nothing
studios
to do
Because-
with
love
Trick or
those
Treat.
kind of
Okay,
titles.
because they had a script, they didn't like the title, so they threw Trick or Treat on it.
Okay,
It's
that's fine.
just like Blair Witch
I'm
2,
just-
Book
I'm-
of Shadows,
yeah.
and Halloween 2, Season of the Witch. Nothing to do with witches or Books of Shadows, but you know what? They sound good. They put
all right.
butts in seats.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair
So,
enough.
yeah, and what's funny is it's actually known by a couple different.
Yeah, you said in Germany
Names.
it's known as ragtime.
Ragman.
Ragman.
That was his
West Germany, it was known as Ragman,
Ragman.
Das Fragman!
and then there's also Spain. Spanish title for it was Muerte at 33 RPMs.
Huh, that's kind of funny. That's
So
like a...
death at 33 RPMs. Ah!
Thank you for translating, Brian.
I know my Spanish.
That one together.
I know my Spanish.
Too funny.
Yeah. So, or
It's-
Portugal was O Massacre de Halloween.
I mean, like, isn't the obvious death metal title like the perfect
I don't
one?
know why they didn't go with that because
Come
that would have
on.
been perfect.
Right?
Death metal, but for me at least, I think it's a fun movie.
They probably
Yeah,
wanted
it's
everybody to
funny.
have that like feeling about Halloween. Like it, Halloween 4 and 5 had just come out the previous 2 years. So, let's
Yeah.
cash in on that like Halloween buzz.
I mean, it takes place on
call it Trick or
Halloween, but that's
Treat,
all it
you
has.
know.
It was released on October 24th of that year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
so they were
right,
really
Halloween.
cashing in on the
Which is really
whole
bad
Halloween
timing.
thing.
I feel if you wanted to have a movie that revolves around Halloween, it should come out early September so you can have the audience build up to
Well,
the
back in
holiday.
the day, they
'Cause as soon
actually
as the holiday's over, why would you want to see
Yeah,
it?
but back in the day, they actually waited to celebrate the holiday until the holiday came. You didn't get Halloween candy in August. like
See,
you
if
do
it were
now.
me, I would have released it in the summer, early summer. That way, it comes out on video
around
Halloween.
Very smart.
Because see, I would never.
That's using your noggin.
I would never release a Christmas movie, a Christmas themed movie around Christmas time. Like you release that like November 1st because people want to watch the movie leading up to the holiday,
Yeah.
not after the holiday.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
But I thought the movie was okay.
Yeah, and the
It's
the
cornball.
acting
I
is
just-
schlock.
and the
It's
acting
amazing.
is surprisingly
It's
okay.
not terrible. I wouldn't say it's Troll 2 level.
Eddie, Mark Price,
It's
you said his name
acceptable.
was?
Yeah, Mark Price.
Mark Price, I thought he was pretty good in this, actually.
He
I
was
felt
pretty
like he
good.
did an
I
okay
thought
job.
his acting did get to be over the top at some points.
And I think a lot of that was like the script. You know what I mean?
like
he
when
was
he's
given a
yelling
lot.
at Leslie after the pool party, he's just like, "I'm gonna burn him!"
Yeah,
like
he's a little
it's
much
like, dude.
at some parts, but
Yeah,
overall,
he
he's
goes
pretty
full
good.
Columbine. He goes.
That's
full
exactly what I was thinking. By the way, I seriously was
you
going
guys are
like,
dark.
see. In reality, Eddie would go grab his machine gun and blow the whole place
Oh my
away.
God.
This is the 90s, yes.
Stop it, you guys.
That was the 90s. You're right.
Stop it. Jesus Christ.
Instead of
I'm
talk
talking
to
about
his,
this dude's
his
performance.
DV
You guys are taking
CD.
this to dark places, man.
Yeah, but
I thought Mark was pretty good in it, honestly. He didn't do a ton of other stuff after this.
No, he didn't.
He was like a real big deal for like 5 minutes, and then that was it.
No, it was all that.
Hopefully,
Family
he's a cool
Times money.
dude, though. I mean, he was good in the movie. And
It's like this movie that just came out unfriended. Like, talk about cashing in on something that's really popular in the moment. Like, this film is hilarious because it just doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
It was, let's cash in on something that's really popular in the moment, and it's just after that, well, made our money, and we don't care if it can never be watched again.
What is funny about this is that
Idiots
around this
podcast tell people to
time,
watch it.
you did have people who were on the conservative right who did have this thinking about heavy metal music.
Yeah, and that is kind of the message.
Like that kind of is the funny thing.
But the whole film actually says they're right.
Yeah,
that these people worship the devil and will kill us all.
It's true.
So it's actually kind of a neoconservative kind of movie.
It is kind of.
You could make that argument.
Totally, but definitely a good watch. Definitely something to check out.
It's goofy fun, and
If
you'll
you're having a
have to
Halloween
watch
party-
another movie to cleanse your palate afterwards.
Yeah, if you're having like a Halloween party and you want to watch something like goofy horror, like throw this on, you'll have a laugh and times 10.
Yeah.
Throw this on, then throw Night of the Demons on afterwards.
Get it.
Good terrible 80s movies. So, for that matter, have a happy Halloween.
Yes, safe and happy.
My personal favorite holiday.
12 tricks and treats, mine too.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, and Snickers are probably the easiest candy to put razor blades into.
Jesus Christ, man.
What? What?
You ruin every good time that we have.
Every good time.
Kids have only been poisoned twice in American history, and that was by relatives. So.
Both by their relatives, that's true.
So please be sure to like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Google+, at Psycho Show. You can find myself on Twitter and Facebook at Brian Conant. You can find Elaine. Where can we find you?
LA_Croft.
And what's the other show you got?
I got Super Serials. So if you like Babysitter's Club, Goosebumps, that kind of stuff, check me out on there.
You've been diving into a lot of Goosebumps this month.
Yeah, spooky season.
Yeah.
And by the next episode, I'm gonna have Twitter.
Oh,
you said that about
said
2
that.
episodes
I'm calling
ago.
it now.
You're just a liar.
Hey, it will happen. By the next
All right.
All right, fair enough.
So look forward to that.
If you have a favorite movie that you would like for us to review or a question you want to throw to us, you can contact us at our website, cinemapsychoshow.com. And be sure to subscribe to catch our next show, available every Friday.
Sleep well, my darlings.